소군 후임킷 메비시르 추집 진비샴바고 스트림 서비스 샘진라 따비시르 스트림 집샴바고 덕당 파르 중위시르 조비샴바고 샘진 탐치 크르드 케리시르 존지 집샴바고 롬용와 메비시르 상튼 집샴바고 디스 토브르시 비시르 시르 집샴바고 탐치드 고르톤 비시르 탑 집샴바고 Sambar number of bishir, Tsurchuba may be shambago. Samba Tagbani, ship bishir, Yoa may be shambago. Nyomomba may be shir, Tabi shambago. Juma may be shir, Juma Maim bishir, Deva may be shambago. Sanjiki Devalango bishir, Devi shambago. Jaffer de no shanchu sen with shamba chimbo go. Meba. Di nyerji chenpo gangyan, meba giwi tsa jibshiba semchen tamchi lak tongwago, meba di gawa chenpo gangyan, meba gang zhenne yeda gawar jirde mengyutba go, meba di tangnyum gangyan, meba gang niku tonden gerwago, Shmeban Kurban Jigbali, Chakba Gangla Timber Xia. Shmeban Jahur Shan Chib Sen Queen Kurban Jigbali, Chakban Sanjiki Cheva Nilla Timbago. Shmeba Sanjiki Cheva Nido Nebrundoba Gangla Xia. Meba Sanjiki Cheva Nilla Nebrundobe Simpson Tam Chilla Number Nebro Xia Wo. 今天讲这么多。
Well, we'll continue on the teachings of not Lotus Sutra, but well, because I kept on saying Lotus Sutra last year for a whole year, so anyhow, we're going to continue with Vimalakirti Sutra. So we'll continue with the Vimalakirti Sutra. Well, in the previous classes, we've already talked about the four immeasurables, the immeasurable of love, of compassion, of joy, and of equanimity. Now we are on the part of the immeasurable mind of compassion that is to the object, that is objectless love, that is phenomenalist love, and that is the immeasurable love. And now we're going to talk about the part that is the nature of such love, and which is that kind of love that is without grasping. And to encourage sentient beings to practice beneficial actions and to help sentient beings to realize emptiness. Especially on the part when we are talking about love, I think this is a little bit different than other teachings in Buddhism. The emphasis is different. Sometimes it's translated as sympathy, sometimes it's translated as love, sometimes it's translated as kindness, and there are different ways of translations. But the genuine love towards sentient beings is the kind of love that you have to consider for the sentient beings. In fact, sometimes the love is a little bit too heavy-handed, but without realizing it's too heavy. Especially parents' love towards their children. Such love is a little too heavy-handed, rather too heavy-handed and very special. Maybe because you love the children too much, all the way from the young age till the old age. And the parents would continue to talk their ears off all the way from their youth to their old age. And they pay too much attention too closely to the children at all times. Sometimes after children are already 30, 40, and even 50 and 60, and the parents are still paying too much attention and trying to control their life. The children, then they can't handle such heavy-handed love, and they just want to leave. And in such a way, you're really destroying the mutual relationship. It's important to care about your children as parents, but in Tibetan teachings we say that before children get to 16 years old, you should educate the children as much as possible, but after 16 years of age, you should give enough space to the children to grow, so that the relation between parents and children will grow stronger, because the children will become adults, and once they're adults, the parents still give so much constraint and so many rules, and trying to control them. That's really not helping. That's really not helpful. But when we see that in the different relationships, let it be love relationship or family relationship and different relationships, if you control each other too much, then the other person would suffer a lot. And once the other person left your eyesight, you feel a lot of sadness, and you have lots of grasping, and then the relationship will deteriorate. Such things would happen. Therefore, the relationship, let it be between family members, between relatives, between love relationships, you shouldn't care too much. The love shouldn't be too heavy-handed. Of course, you should care for each other, but don't hold on to small things. Don't grasp on each other too much. In Tibetan, we say, there's an old saying, we say that we're not at the childish infant, and I am not the kind of I'm not too old to understand what things mean, and therefore you shouldn't grasp on me too much, and we have such language to talk to each other as well. Well, this is the thing I would like to address first, is because that kind of love grasping, that kind of affection that has lots of grasping, would bring pressure to yourself as well as the other, and would bring suffering to yourself and the other as well. For people with wisdom, and people with morality, they wouldn't just think that you don't care about them if you don't pay attention to them at all times. So now we continue with the next part, which is about the 6 paramitas. This is quite important. Therefore, I'm going to slow down rather and expand on it a bit more. In fact, in the great Mahayana, the ornament to the great Mahayana Sutra also have extensive explanation on the 6 paramitas. The first one, it says, practice the sympathy of the charity of Dharma because of the absence of regret. In fact, over here it talks about the charity of Dharma and how is it? In fact, the charity of Dharma or the giving of Dharma should be giving without anything holding back. In Tibetan, it says that do not hold on to the language. Also, it means the teacher do not hold on to the knowledge with a tight fist. It's achara musti in Sanskrit.
In
the Kumar Jiva's version over here says absence of regret. It's not the best expression in the Xuanzang's version of translation where it says that it's the tight fist of a teacher, where it means that the teacher doesn't give the knowledge for all. In fact, in society nowadays, we say we can see in lots of the education and trainings, the teacher wouldn't give the students all the knowledge that he knows, otherwise he's afraid of the teacher would surpass them. But it is completely different than in Mahayana Sutra, in the Mahayana teaching. In Mahayana teaching, it's not that if you taught all the students all your knowledge you know, then you will starve yourself to death. That's not true. In the worldly sense, it could, people say that, but the students, if the students were to learn all the knowledge that the teacher knows, then they would surpass them, and then the teacher would no longer be able to make a living for himself. In arts, in arts or in different aspects of different fields of studies, the experienced ones would warn the younger teachers not to give all the teachings that they know, otherwise how could you make a living? But the Mahayana teachers, Mahayana Buddhism teachers, they would give without any reserve. That's the difference of Mahayana teachers to the difference between the Mahayana teachers to the mundane teachers and the worldly teachers. And the giving of Dharma is to help all sentient beings, and that's the key of Mahayana teacher and the Mahayana teaching. In the Mahayana Mahaparinirvana Sutra, it says that for the generosity of giving the wealth, there is an end, but there is no end to the giving of Dharma. The dana of Dharma, or the giving of Dharma, knows no ending. The benefit it bestows is great. Also, in the great Prajnaparamita Sutra, it says that the giving of Dharma is unlimited, but the giving of worldly knowledge is limited. The giving of Dharma is endless, but the giving of wealth is limited. So the benefit of the Dharma is unlimited. Even if you have a very little bit of teaching of Dharma that you could preach to others, this is quite necessary, because the giving of Dharma is so precious. In fact, the giving of Dharma is not necessarily having to be in the words of Dharma. In fact, sometimes if you could give some mundane world knowledge, it's also really good. Just like how the teachers give teachings to the students, that's actually also considered as the giving of Dharma, the charity of Dharma. Some successful teachers to their students would give them teachings on on the value and on different teaching and different knowledge of the world. When I wanted to be ordained, when I wanted to get ordained, my teacher suggested me not to do that yet, but I did that still. Because I think getting ordination is really valuable. But sometimes the students may not listen to the teacher very attentively, and then the teacher may feel quite heartbroken because the students are obviously not listening. Even on top of that, they would slander the teacher and not to think of the things that the teacher did for them. For in that case, it is stated in the great Dharma Torch Dharani Sutra, where it says that even if the audience are not listening, even if the audience are not great audience to listen to the Dharma, but the teacher, the Dharma teacher, will still receive great merits by giving the teaching without any stinginess. On top of that, in the Sutra of Buddha's saying, Iti-Vitaka Sutra, where it says that among all types of generosity of giving, the giving of Dharma reigns supreme. To discourse on the authentic Dharma with a pure mind is what is praised by all the Buddhas. In fact, if you were to give the Dharma, even if you are not great at it, but at that time the Dharma, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will still give you blessings and will still praise you at that time. This is a natural law, just as in the filial piety classics on the filial piety, we talked about how a person, if he were to practice a good conduct, then he will have a good future. He will have a fortunate future. But people who conduct evil deeds, then his future is in a dark end, is towarding a dark end. Therefore, I think all of us should know what to take and what to abandon in our daily life. On top of that, giving the Dharma, the generosity of Dharma is not stopped by the boundary of country, of sex, of school. In fact, all sentient beings could receive the Dharma teaching. But nowadays, I think it's quite important to bring to your attention the teaching of Mahayana is so vast, is boundaryless, is limitless. However, to such great and such abundant Mahayana teaching, there are people who have very limited heart and very small-mindedness, and then they make Mahayana teaching into this small-minded and small-formed teachings. Some Mahayana practitioners who have rather small mind and they don't have a great perspective. Other than the things that they are familiar with, they are not able to accept the different teachings from other schools. This is quite sad. For example, many practitioners who are listening to my teachings at this point, there are people who are from the Han tradition, just as the 8 schools, the Pure Land school, the Zen school, the Chan school, and many different schools. And from the Tibetan school, just as Jonang, Sakya, Nyingma, and Gelugpa, there are 8 schools in Tibetan schools, major Tibetan schools of Tibetan Buddhism. But sometimes I feel that although the teachings do not have boundaries, but the schools or people who grasp onto the schools that they're studying, they create lots of conflicts between one another. And sometimes it's really beyond imagination. I think it's important to bring it into your attention because practitioners over here or audience that's attending this class, you probably know that I'm quite inclusive. You can listen to my class if you're in Nyingma, if you're from different schools, and if you are even non-practitioner or you're non-believer of Buddhism, that's all completely fine. I don't have prerequisites in terms of that. But sometimes there are different gurus, different teachers. They do not let their students to listen to classes that's outside of their schools. Inside Tibetan Buddhism, there are different schools that's creating conflicts and they are creating boundaries for one school to another. In Qinghai province or in India and different places, there are schools or sects that they only accept their own school but rejecting all other schools of teaching and their masters, and they not only they don't accept it, they would slander their teachings or they would badmouth their different teachings and schools behind their backs. So certain schools and sects, they would say that people living in our region, that's around our monastery, they can only listen to my school of teaching, and other schools of teaching cannot enter this region and give teaching. Doesn't matter, other geshis or kumpos cannot enter to this area to give teachings without their agreement. They have no rights to teach to the local people without their permission. Well, from the perspective, from this great perspective, this worldwide perspective, this is quite laughable because it's a protectionism in terms of Buddhism. Maybe in their region, maybe they have butchers, maybe they have slaughterhouse, maybe they have even schools that preach the wrong view, and they have no contribution in terms of those to bring the right Dharma to them, but all what they do is to block other people to enter their region to give the right teachings. Inside our group, we see that people who only accept teachers of their own school, they only post teachings from their lineage, and other teachings from other lineage are never really posted in their social media, in their friend circle, and they never really read such at all. Of course, it's all your own rights to post whatever you like. But I think usually if your teacher has such limitations, then the disciples would have such limitations, and maybe the disciples would feel regrets afterwards. Because of some teachers' influence, I think you may have a very different attitude towards others. To all of us, not only we quote teachers from different schools, we in fact quote from teachers that's from the Han tradition, from the Theravada tradition, and sometimes from different religions as well when it's appropriate and when it's valuable. Therefore, I think it's quite important to be inclusive and to be big-hearted. Don't only pay close attention and focus too much on your own teacher, and don't be so small-minded like that. Otherwise, you're missing out a lot. When I go to the West, some schools and some practitioners are also very small-minded and limited. Practitioners from the past and even now, just as Pure Land School practitioners, they only read teachings from Pure Land School, and then practitioners practitioners, they only read from the Zen tradition, and they don't care about anything other than that. In fact, I pay attention to what's going on outside of my own comfort zone. I see that there are practitioners, however, are very protectionist, are very much limited to their own teacher, their own school, their Geshe, their teachers and temples. During their teachings, they exhibit such characteristic, just as they, during their teaching or during their talk, they only quote teachers from their own lineage, but they don't quote anyone from outside of their lineage or from different school. So from such an angle, then you will be able to see that their mind are rather quite limited. On one hand, it's good because nowadays there are too much information. Maybe this person is very much focused from practicing from one aspect and then very much focused on practicing such. That's very good. They only eat one meal, they only listen to one teacher. Maybe that's their way of studying. My metaphor, I'm not sure if it's a fitting metaphor or not, but my point is that I really hope that practitioners, people from different schools, don't fetter yourself into only one school and don't limit yourself into a smaller and smaller space. That's not necessary, really. So this is the part on the tight fist, on the teaching of absence of regret, which is translated as tight fist in Tibetan. We can give teachings to any kind of sentient beings, to all sentient beings, especially as Mahayana teachings. We should know that the Mahayana teachings are so vast and so profound. Let's not limit the Mahayana teaching because of who you are as a mundane being with limitations. When I first came to Larongga, at first, when I listened to others quoting from different religion and so on, I felt rejection in my heart as well. But later on, when I traveled worldwide, I noticed the value of different culture and different religions as well. In fact, Han tradition, Buddhism tradition is rather a very small group, very small community. Just as in our world, if we were to see the whole globe, we can't even pinpoint to see where the community of Buddhism is. We're so tiny, and if within such a tiny community, we still have so much quarrel and conflicts within ourselves and reject teachings from each other, then we can imagine how our future would be. And this is not worthwhile to do so. And there are teachers nowadays who would fight over their disciples and who would feel that my disciple ran away with another teacher. I think this kind of compassion with lots of greed and grasping, then that's really not necessary. Of course, if you were to have some special task for that disciple to do, then that's understandable. But if not, that's not reasonable. For students to have anger, to have lots of controlling, that's not necessary. Similarly, for teachers to have grasping towards disciples, that's not necessary either. Teachers should have the kind of faith to practice the Dharma, just as Nippon Rinpoche says that not everything should be blended together, but you should have a very solid understanding of what you should do, or you have lots of faith towards the kind of practice that you should conduct with, just as lots of Theravada practitioners, how they conduct and how they participate in their practice. However, it doesn't mean that you just limit yourself within such practice and don't look into anything else. You should still keep your eyes open for every other lineages, for all the teachings of the Buddha. I see people during the past year, I've been posting one quote of the Buddhism teachings on my Weibo and with Tibetan as well as translation into Chinese. I see that there are people from different lineages. They only repost those teachings that's of their own lineage, and this is quite laughable. So I hope everyone, as Buddhists, I think you should not have such bias towards other schools in Buddhism. In fact, this is not Mahayana Buddhism, just as it says that the teacher should not hold tight fist of wisdom. The teacher should not hold on to wisdom in their hand. In the Tibetan version, I never really find proper words in such to express such kind of clinging or this kind of stinginess. But I think this tight fist of a teacher is a really good way of translating it. So 6 paramitas will slow down. Okay, I'll get even more expansive afterwards. Practice sympathy of charity of Dharma, and then we should practice sympathy of morality because of converting the transgressors. The Bodhisattva, in fact, they would help and teach the sentient beings who broke their vows, who did not abide their precepts. So this part, when we talk about 6 paramitas, we're talking about the part where the bodhisattvas are mingling with the sentient beings. Morality, this paramita, morality, or the precept paramita. In fact, the bodhisattva not only abide their own precept, they also teach the sentient beings and convert the transgressors. In fact, of course, the sentient beings have very different conditions and they have different kind of causes. But for sentient beings who have lots of bad karma, then they would conduct in wrong conduct. And for people who have good karma, then it's hard for them to break their vows. 就是说，作为凡夫人呢，就是如果是真的是一尘不染，就是受持清净戒律的话，那这是这个非常的稀有，就是非常难的。因为凡夫人呢，他经常自身的具有这个贪嗔痴，没有这个毁坏这样的功能。然而，一旦这个自己的非力作揖和，还有那个遇到这个一些这个愿意或者不愿意的对境的时候呢，会这个产生这个贪嗔，最后的话呢，就是毁坏这个戒律啊。 object, or when they face the unpleasant object, they would break their vows. So as sentient beings, as ordinary beings, it's very difficult for them not to break their vows. But for bodhisattvas, not only they don't break vows themselves, they would help sentient beings not to break vows. In India, in some sutras, it stated some stories of how ordinary beings also would rather die than break their vows. In in a sutra, where it is stated, in the Agama Sutra, where it is stated of a king after the Shakyamuni Buddha's parinirvana, after 100 years of Buddha Shakyamuni's parinirvana, this king not only did not believe in the Buddha, he in fact conducted lots of killing as offering. Then during 1 year's killing offering, a cook who's living in this kingdom, he refused to conduct in killing because he's a Buddhist who's already taken the 5 precepts of a lay practitioner. And then this cook's supervisor then reported him to the king in anger, saying that you should really punish this cook because he doesn't obey you. Then the king decided to give him 7 days, and then if he doesn't change his mind, then this cook will be killed by 500 elephants stomping on him. But this cook then refused such offer, saying that I'd rather die than breaking my vows, because if I were to break my vow and conduct killing, then in all my future lives I will be short-lived and I will not have health. Also, I will not have good birth. But if I were to refuse your request and die, then in all my future lives I will have long life because I've abided the precepts if I've already followed my precepts. So the king then released 500 elephants on the 7th day because this lay practitioner did not listen to him. At that time, this lay practitioner, probably also a really good practitioner or some kind of sage or enlightened ones, his body at that moment when the 500 wild elephants were released, his body transformed into the mountain-like Buddha's body, and his hands transformed into the 5-peaked mountain, a 5-peaked mountain, where out of each peak of mountain a lion run out and attacking the 500 wild elephants, who then all run away. At that moment, the king then believed in the Buddha. The king started to respect the Buddha and then abide all the precepts of the precepts, and then stopped his killing actions or killing rituals as a ceremony, as offering ceremony, and all of his citizens all became Buddhist. The cook became the cabinet of the king or advisor of the king. Well, there are teachings that shows this inconceivable status of past sages and past practitioners. But the point is, we should use precepts we should use precept or shila, which is quite rare to require ourselves, to give such standard to ourselves. In the sutra it says that it is hard to gain the human body. It is harder to it is harder to become the kind of a human body and then abide the precepts. When Kempo recite the precepts, he would also recite this such verse. I'll post it in my Weibo later. Not only we should abide such precept, on top of that, if we can teach sentient beings to abide such precepts, then we can become the pure upasa or lay practitioners. Out of all these people, it's not many could get ordained. Even if you can get ordained, then it is hard to purely complete such life in ordination. And even if you could do that, it's hard to protect all your vows and abide all the precepts. Practice sympathy of forbearance because of protecting others and self. Protecting others, other sentient beings, and not to have anger towards others, not to slander others. It's always to protect others' mind. Protect your own mind, because if without protecting your own mind, it's very difficult to protect others' mind. It will be rather really difficult, just as stated in Shantijiva's The Way of Bodhisattva. It says, getting what I do not want and all that hinders my desire. Discontent, my anger finds its fuel. From this, it grows and destroys me and others. To force yourself, or when someone forces you to conduct things that you don't want to do, is really difficult to give rise to your anger. And getting what you do not want is very difficult. It's very easy for you to have anger, which then will destroy all your merits. These two things are very easy to give rise to the anger. Once you resolve such these two problems, then you would have a rather good mentality and a peace of mind.
他这里这个建立精进呢，并没有说我天天磕头、天天念经，这个叫精进。
Practice sympathy of
那什么是菩萨的精进呢？菩萨的精进呢，经常呢就是荷担这个如来家里，荷担就是终身担，也就是终身的这个重担呢，就是经常这个负起来。然后呢，就是要向着众生，时时刻刻的众生。如果为众生做事的话呢，就是真正的
Whenever you're doing things for the sentient beings, this is the conduct of bodhisattvas. If you don't care about sentient beings at all, this is not called the exertion for bodhisattvas. For bodhisattvas who have exertion, they not only say that they shouldn't slack off or sleep in, even if they walk too slowly, that is rather undignified. Just as stated in the Ornament of the Great Vehicle Sutra, it says, for the supreme beings who shoulder the burden of beings, have such responsibility of the sentient beings. In fact, the Indians would hold the burden on top of their head. So, for such bodhisattvas, if they walk leisurely, walk very slowly, this is undignified. And numerous are the ties that bind oneself and others. This is called for 100-fold diligence. We should have lots of diligence and exertion for the benefit of sentient beings. If you don't have such kind of exertion, then you are not considered as a bodhisattva. Any other thing is not as important as benefiting all sentient beings. I think this is in the first 1 or 2 chapters of the Ornament of the Great Vehicle sutras.
就是有些那个人呢，就是经常散乱啊，修行的时候会用这个矫正，就是你不要懈怠了，不要这个缓慢了，应该累一点，就是应该多做一点事情，就是这样的话呢，就是才算是真正发了菩提心的。天天都是没什么事，就是没什么事做，完了有时候心也很烦的，所以
for a person who give rise to the mind of bodhisattva, then you really shouldn't slack off. For people who have depression, they don't have such mind to benefit sentient beings, who don't have such space to think about other sentient beings. In fact, I think practitioners who don't really, who have a rather afflicted mind, means that they don't have much things to do. They're not busy to benefit other sentient beings. Because once you do practice sentient beings, then you don't have time or space to be afflicted and to have lots of afflictions. And then practice sympathy of concentration, because not experiencing the flavors or not grasping onto the flavors. During samadhi or concentration, then in such taste of meditation, it could feel rather very pleasant. I remember that Pachur Rinpoche, I think in his autobiography, he said that when his disciple asked him if they can go and enter retreat of practice, then Pachur Rinpoche was not really happy. And when Nyushu Rinpoche asked Pachur Rinpoche whether if they can go and benefit sentient beings by teaching the Dharma, Pachur Rinpoche appeared to be really happy. The small tata is like the mold of a statue. Usually we say in the words of my perfect teacher, he says that the student or disciple should be like the small tata or mold of the teacher as a statue that is made into such mold, so that the students would look exactly the same as the statue, which is the teacher. But if the teacher have great mind of benefiting other sentient beings, but the student just want to enter into solitary retreat, you can't see a single bit of compassion that is copied from the teacher at all, then that's not a really good mode at all. And then practice the sympathy of wisdom, because of the absence of any time of non-understanding. In fact, the Buddha over here, it says that once you have such wisdom, you know what to do, you know what time to do it, and you know what time not to say it or not to do it. In fact, these are the wisdom of the Buddha. Is that right? I think this is in the 400 verses of Madhyamika. Have you all recited this year? Then how come you don't remember this verse?
That's about
how to take the perfect timing to do the perfect direction, perfect action. And that is based on the wisdom of the wisdom paramita. And then practice the sympathy of skillful means. Just as when bodhisattvas would practice such skillful means, then they would create all kinds of manifestations of all teaching methods. The Theravadas and Shravakas, they probably won't be able to do it all perfectly in terms of manifesting in all teaching methods. But when bodhisattvas, when they are teaching the sentient beings, they would manifest in all different forms, to tame all different beings, just as in beings who are quite arrogant, then they would appear quite wrathful, and in to the other sentient beings, they would appear in all variety of forms in order to help that particular sentient being. This is the kind of skillful means that is based on love or sympathy. So that's the 6 parameters, and then in the Tang Xuanzang's version of translation, it has 3 more, rather 5 more aspects of sympathy, just as the practice of aspiration, and then the power or strength of sympathy or love, which is vast and profound, and then the jnana wisdom, that is to say that they know the nature of all phenomena. And there are 2 more, I think, but I don't quite remember. These are reported in the Xuanzang's translation. So if you want to discover more of Vimalakirti Sutra, then you can read into it. Just as in Xuanzang's version, it is rather a little bit different than this version. According to Kumarajiva, then it continues to say practice something of non-biting because of the purity of sincerity. They don't have anything to hide because their mind is pure and really sincere, and there is nothing to hide from others. Of course, this is based on skillful means of bodhisattvas as well. It has to be, because if you can't, because there are people who can't keep any secrets, and in the West, they would think that if you were to hide anything from them, that's lying. But in a bodhisattva's perspective, sometimes that is based on skillful means. Just as when a person is at stage 4 cancer and about to die, and if this person cannot accept it at all, then the doctor would probably only tell his close relative. And then with his relative, and doctor would slowly tell them what's going on with his health. Then he may be able to accept it slowly. But from the West they would consider that you have to be extremely sincere, extremely straightforward. Otherwise, you are not being honest. And in fact, that's not true. Sometimes, even as the secrecy agency, they cannot tell you all their secrets. They have to give you the skillful answers from time to time to hide what they're doing. But the bodhisattvas, they hold such a mind of helping sentient beings, and that's the kind of sympathy. The next one, practice sympathy of profound mind because of the absence of heterogeneous practice. Sometimes when in fact, when the bodhisattvas have such love towards sentient beings, they love sentient beings with a profound mind without grasping, without the contaminated mind.
就是参去，就是这样的这个词
the
边
love
为什
of
么就是没有这个虚假的缘故？就是它
illusory
新这样的这种
because
无框
of
式
not
呢，
using
实际上是
false
没有这个
conventions.
较战，就是应该是
They don't
不
have
是这个
anything
以为自
to
己的这个目的呢，就是故意
conceal
这个
or
欺骗
to
众人。其实现在这个
lie
时代
to the
当中的
sentient
话，不
beings.
管是
In our time,
东西方的哪里的这
the
个
West
媒
or
体
the
啊，
East
比如说这
or
个
the
媒体的话
media,
呢，你是站在这
they
边，站在
have
那边，
rather
那就是这
different
个媒体的
biases
这种
and
话
the
语呢，完全都
medias
是
could
不相
have
同的。
different
然后一个
standards
广告的话呢，就是
based
它
on
对这个
who
任
are
何一个产
supporting
品的
them.
这种宣传的时候呢，
Just
它也
as
是站着的这个
commercials
也不同的。包括我们
during
一
a
些佛教
commercial,
徒
you
的话
would be
呢，
able
就
to
是
see
他
that
是某个
they
上
have
市的
a
弟子的
very
话呢，就是那
specific
他对这个上市
standpoint
的
and
赞叹的词
they
呢，就是也
have
是完全不同的。其
a
实这些都
different
是
bias
稍微
towards
带有一
self
种
and
这个
others.
虚假和
Just
这
as
个
some disciples towards
就
their
是
teachers,
欺骗的这个
they
意义吧。
sometimes
就是
have
我
a
们
different
按照
bias
我们
towards
过
their
去很
teacher.
多大的教言里面，就是讲这个真当
Many
这比如
masters
这个拉玛
teaching
那样多么些，就是带有那个狡诈的这种语言呢，就
It
是对
says
上司
that
也不应该赞叹
the
的。所以
language that
按
is
理来
not
讲呢，就
honest,
是不
that
应该
is
就是
over
对这个上司
exaggerated.
都是这个
In
赞
fact,
叹。
those
但现
kind
在
of
这个
language
社会
are
呢，就是
not,
确实，尤其是
even
这个
even
商业
if
时
the
代，
language
这个
are
是
in
可
praise
能有
of
些
their
众
own
生呢，实
teacher,
在是
those
没办
are
法，
not
就是挣钱
beneficial
没
to
办法
their
挣
own
钱，就是
teachers.
所以有时候做各种各样的这个，包括这个医学方面也好
In
然后很多方面都有。就是有些
medicine,
地方
in
这样这个
pharmaceutical
欺诈的话呢，
business.
就是这个不说
In
精神
fact,
当
the
中的一
language
些
of
这个法律的惩
concealment
罚吧，来世的
of
果报也是特别可怕的。
non-honesty
法院律例
is
当中
quite
说，
common
就是
in order
有些
to
众生
do
啊，
their
就是在那
business.
个
But
就
the
燃烧的
karma,
这个
the
铁地上呢，
karmic
用这个
results that you could
针嘛，
receive
就是
from
来这
such
个
is
刺
also
入他
quite
的身体，
severe,
非常痛苦
severe and
的。
fast.
但实际上呢，就是这个时候呢，
Just as
在有些医生呢，就是在
the
做医的过程当中，可能现在所谓的针
in
灸吧，
some
就是
of
那些
those
是用假的，
Vinaya,
本来都
in
是
the
不用
Vinaya
扎它
Sutras
的，但
where
是
it
他
says
非要
that
就是给他扎那个
some
就是扎特别
some
特别粗的。原来
session
我
beings
做过一些
who
小手术
are
整到就是哇，就这样
or
扎下去
some
哇，
session beings
特
who are
别痛，
suffering
麻醉
from
药也
a
没
hell
有，
realm
就
where
是
they are
特别特别痛，
being
就是让就眼里的是
needled
是一滴
by
一滴的
many
流下来了，
thousands
这
of
个但
needles
是呢，
and
一直
so on.
忍着这样，这样忍
And
着，然
it's
后就
mainly
差
because of their
差
past
就是
karma
所以
of doing unnecessary
有些
acupuncture or needle
有
into
些有
their
好处的，
patients.
有些是
When
没
I
有
was
好处
sick,
的，
I
有些是那个通过
I
这个说法来
experienced
的。以
such
前那个舍利
pain
子也
of
是到那个
being
一些地狱众生的时候
cutting
呢，
to
就是
my
有些
my
众生啊，
flesh
就
with
是
a
他那
small
个
knife
色
or
度都
small
特别特别，因为他的业力
needles.
显见就是色度上就是有
And I
很
can
多这个
even
众
hear
生在
the
耕
sound
耘
of
呢，
them
就实际上这是在世的时候
poking
呢，
those
就用自己
large
较大的
needles
这个
and the
语言
small
传
knives
一
into
些
my
泻
into
法
my，
然后
bones,
让很
into
多众生呢
my
就
spine.
是去入这个泻道，以这个果报的话呢，
Shariputra
就是
in
让
Vinaya
这个
Sutra, he said
让
he
让这些
stated
众
the
生就是
scene
来世也是干
where
出这
the
样的
sentient
这种
beings who are
痛苦啊。
suffering
有
in
时候
hell
我们看
realm,
到一些
those
癌症
sentient
患者啊，
beings'
就是色度都全部
tongues
糜烂
are
了，就是这些的话呢，
tongues
也是
are
跟这些业
rolled
力是有
out
关系
and
的。
there are
他们
sharp
可能前
weapons
世呢，就是
plowing
在
on
地
their
狱的
tongue.
轮回当中感受很多这方面的痛苦，然后就是现在的话呢，就
Sometimes
是我那
we
天看到
see
一个这个网上的，
cancer
就是一个人的整个那个他那个色爱，就是色素好
cancer
像是吧，就是
pa-
全部都
cancer
全部都
patient
没
as
有
well
了，但
as
其他身体都是
a
很好
tongue
的，已经
cancer
好多年了，就是
patient.
他都没有那个
They are
就是
experiencing
吃不
such
下这
pain
个任何的食物，
probably
就是只有
because
通过关道来的。
such
所以有些众生
pain
的
that
业
is
力的
they
话呢，
experience
真的是
also in
前世
hell
的这
realm
种业啊
and
就是不对不这个
because of
思
such
维，就是我们
past
现在
karma.
拥有自己的这种这个身心自在的时候呢，
And
尽
now,
量的
as
就是不要
practitioners,
这
since
个
we have
违
such
背一些
freedom
因
of
果的
our
这种事情
body,
吧。
of
其实
our
违背因果
mind,
的话呢，我们实践
and
当
of
中
our
的一
speech,
些
let's not
就是
violate
欺骗
things
啊、价
that
值啊、
would
杀害众生啊，这
let's
些都
not
是违
conduct
背因果
our
的，这
actions
并不是佛教的一个
violating the
就
karma,
是独自的
because
一种这
karma
个
is
独创，
not
就是不是这样的，应该是它是这个我们人类社会就是
Buddhism.
应该
It's
是
not
一
a
种这
rule
个
that's
这
created
种
or
因
stated
果的一
as
种规律，这样的因果规律呢，不要认为
as
是
some kind
佛
of
教才
teaching
有，
only
其
in
他
Buddhism.
教派就没有。其实不是
It's
这样
not
的，我们
only
有时候
stated
真的
in
看到就是
Buddhism.
每个众
In
生
fact,
的
this is
这
a
个
natural law of our life, especially when you observe different happiness and suffering of sentient beings, you would notice and you can contemplate on the truth of karma. Practice sympathy of peace and joy because of causing beings
贤就
to
是悟道
attain
世
the
界慢
joy
慢圆
of
满，最后呢获得这
Buddhahood.
个获得安
Thus
乐。
is
那
the
么菩
sympathy
萨
of the
之次呢，就
Bodhisattva
是为如此业，
to
就是
help
菩
the
萨的
sentient
这
beings to
个
attain
这
the
种这个次呢，就是实际上就
five
是这样的。
paths
然后文殊
and
师利菩萨呢，就是问，就是什么是
10
悲啊？就
bhumis.
是慈悲的悲，就是这个是什么
And
是
then
呢？
Manjushri
他这里
continued
给
to
我们
ask
平时
him,
的
saying,
字
what is
就是大悲
compassion?
有点不
In
同，
fact,
说
over
是
here,
菩萨这
compassion is
个悲
defined
呢，
a
就
little
是
bit
菩萨所做
different
的功德
than
啊，就
how
是
we
结于一
usually
切众
define
生
it.
共治。
The
那么
Vimalakirti
就像
answered,
我
the
们
merits
做的回
achieved
向
by
一
the
样的吧，就是
Bodhisattva
菩萨他
are
自己做的
entirely
身口意
shared
的，
with
就是利
all
益众生的
sentient
所有
beings.
的这些功德呢，就是
All
这
the
个回
all
向
the
给这个
merits
所有
that's
的众生啊，
generated
就是
by
所有
the
的众生，
mind,
让
body,
这
and
些众生呢，
speech
就是
are
获得
then
了暂时
shared
的快
with
乐，
all
直至呢
sentient beings
得到了阿耨多罗
to
三藐三菩提，
give
就这样的一
them
种分相。
temporary
所以我
happiness
们
as
这里
well
的一
as
些这个
eternal
启发，跟
happiness
我们
as
平时的这个
Samidalak
大乘的有一些经论的这个说
Samyak
法呢，
Sambuddhi.
稍微有一点不同。就像我们讲那个六祖
Over
坛
here,
经的时
this
候，有些名词呢，就是
explanation
跟
is
我
a
们
bit
就是
different
平常的这个
than
用法呢，就是
the
稍微有
than
点
our
不同
common
一样的。就是这
explanation
个
on what
大家也
compassion
应该不
is.
同经典有不同
Just
的
as
这个
during
观点，
our
我们也
sixth
就如果能记得住的话呢，就是从这个哇，就是原来我们学过的《维摩诘经》当中的这个慈悲喜是
where
这
a
样
lot
解
of
释
the
的话，
words
也是
and
很好的。
terms
那么
are
什么是
explained
这个细
differently.
呢？它这里这个所谓的这个细性的话呢，
And
就
then
是就所
Manjushri
有让
continued
你
to
啊，
ask,
就
what
是
is joy?
欢喜不
And
悔。
the answer is
它
that
这里
if there
这
is
个
benefit,
所有的这个
then
饶益
one
众生，你
rejoice
看全
without
是跟
regret.
众生有关系的。
See,
那么这个呢，就
everything
是
is
他只要这个饶益
regarded
众生
with
的话，哪
sentient
怕是自己
beings.
就是粉身碎骨也好，就是家破
Over
人亡
here,
也好，都没有什么后悔心，就非常欢喜的。
to-
只要对众生
in
有
order
利的话
to
呢，不管是
benefit
你在这
sentient
个
beings,
苦
or
心也
as long
好，
as it
有
benefits
时候我
sentient
们求
beings,
法的
and
过
let
程
it
当
be
中也
as
应该
austerity,
应
and
该
let
有
it
这样
be
的。我凡是
losing
一
your
心一意
own
的为众
family
生而
and
求
your
法
whole
的，我
homeland
自
and
己可
so
能
on.
顺势了有
As
些，
long
包
as
括
it
现
helps
在
the
我们有些
sentient
佛
beings,
教徒的
then
话，
it
可
is
能
worth it,
因为
and
那个
it's
自己求法的这个心切的原因呢，
rejoice
在
without
生活当中
regret.
啊，在工作当中，在这个
In your
很多
work,
这
in
个
your
当中的
life,
话呢，就是
in
也失
your
去了一些，但自己呢，就是
searching
没有
for
任何的这个无怨无悔啊，就毫无遗憾，就
in the
是这样
searching
的这种
of
是叫做
mundane
这
world
个叫做细
happiness.
啊，就是这个叫
Just
做
as myself, I
细是
don't
真
have
理
any of
真理的
those,
细
but
是这样
I have
没有后悔，
I've
就
lost
很
those
欢喜
kind
的
of
啊，
happiness, but
就是
I
这
have
个
no
叫做
regret,
是这个
yet
细。
I
然后
rejoice
什
all
么是
sentient
这个
beings
色
who
性？
do
就是何
enjoy
谓
it.
色性呢？
So this is called joy.
那么这个
And
色
then
性的话
what
呢，就
is
是那么所作
equanimity?
富有啊，就是无所希望。
Equanimity is
就
the
是对众
blessing.
生这个所
The
做的
blessings
所有的这
generated
些
are
这
without
个福祉和报用，就是
expectations.
这些的话呢，就是没有什么这个希求，没有什么希望啊，就是几生当中也没有什么想
Bodhisattvas
好，
do not
我
have
对他帮
any
助什么，就是他
hopes
一
or
点都不理我，就是
expectations
就
of
有些道
anything
友
in
就经常
return
这样
or
的，他
anything
刚来
at
的时候
all.
对他特别特
Just
别好的，
as
那
the
最近就是他就
Bodhisattvas
变成法师了，他都不理我了，我很
have
伤
no
心的，
expectation
我
of
接
any
受不了，
payback.
就是以前他没有
When
吃的没有喝的
practitioners
啊，最近啊，
sometimes
他当
they
看不
would look at the
喽。
other person who used to be their poor friend and now they're couples, yet they do not
就然后其
talk
他
to
人
them
说
at
对对
all.
对，我也有这样的。那你说谁啊？你来，
And
我
other
们
people
喝
would
个咖
say,
啡，
yes, I have
讲一下
someone who's
我们
like
讲
that
的这
as
些
well,
别
who
人的故
don't
事多舒
give
服
me
啊！
any
然
kind
后
of
不是这样的，
repay
就
to
是
my
那个
previous kindness at
就是
all, and
就
we
自
can
己
talk
这个做什
behind
么
their
事情啊，
back.
就是
Let's
别
do
人
that
得到
over
什么，
coffee.
得
How's
到
that?
什么的
Isn't
话
it
呢，就没有
pleasant
什
to
么
talk about to
就
badmouth
怎么讲，
others
就没有什
behind
么
their
汇报
back?
的。其实这是菩萨当中就是很重要
But
的。我们可能
bodhisattvas are not
作为
like
凡
that.
夫人的话
The
呢，我给你
bodhisattvas
做什么，就是你一定要跟我。
have
这是
such
一种生意，不是
equanimity
什么
and they
真
have
正
no
的
expectation of
菩萨
any
无条件
payback.
的这个利益
As
众生。
mundane
就
beings,
像
we
这
have
个文殊
certain
师利文经当
expectations.
中呢，就是也说过啊，就是说日月呢，
But
就是
in
照诸化无有这个恩宝相，就太阳月亮的话呢，就经
In
常就是
the
它依靠
Sutra
阳光和
of
它的光芒
Manjushri's
呢，
questions
就是
where
对
it
这个
says
万物
that
都是有滋
sun
的
and
和有
moon
利益的。
illuminate the
但是他
flowers
从来没
without
有
any
想过
thoughts
是
of
我今天就
reward.
是对这个什么这个玫瑰
Even if I help this rose and help the other.
就是什么是啦。
Or this flower over here, the Erica. I think I'm forgetting the name of this flower.
然后对他什么那个交了税，就是然后应该是他应该跟我有报应些，没有这样的。
If I were to water it and give it sunlight, then it should give me
如来和菩萨的精神呢也是一样的，就是他会照样的这个
the Tathagatas does not seek rewards, as there is nothing to be grasped. They have nothing to hope for, or they have no hope for anything to be repaid by you at all. This is the base. This is the very basic of a bodhisattva, basic requirement of being a bodhisattva. So the previous ones are talking about all those bodhisattvas who are of sharp faculties from the four immeasurables, the immeasurable of love, the immeasurable of compassion, immeasurable of joy, and immeasurable of equanimity. Just as stated in the previous ones that from the love aspect, and in fact, the next three, the immeasurable of compassion, joy, and equanimity could also be expanded. Well, next, Montessori asked 12 questions, but today we will probably only talk about the first two. First, Montessori asked, for the bodhisattvas who fears samsara, who fears death and birth, this is quite fearful, right? Samsara is not pleasant. What should be the bodhisattva's reliance? The bodhisattvas are supposed to liberate sentient beings, and then how bodhisattvas should face the samsara himself. Who should the bodhisattva, or what should the bodhisattva's reliance? Then Vimalakirti said, a bodhisattva who fears samsara should rely on the power of the Tathagata's merit. Just as the sentient beings, the bodhisattva should also rely on the Tathagata's power. A bodhisattva who fears birth and death, who fears samsara, they should rely on the merit of Tathagata. When I was translating the Agama Sutra, Agama Sutra, where it says that if one do not know, do not clear, do not abrupt or eliminate, do not depart from the desire, from the form, then they cannot be liberated. But once they can understand, could clarify, could eliminate, could stop all the desire for the form, then they can surpass, if they can surpass, or if they can know and devoid of all those, and understand and clarify and stop and eliminate from such desire towards a form, then they can surpass birth, death, old age, and sickness. That's to the form, and then similar to the perception to the mental formations and so on, they're exactly the same. So from the Sravaka point of view, such a fear towards birth, death, sickness, and death, if they can devoid from the five skandhas and stop desire towards them or grasping towards them, then they can surpass the samsara. But to bodhisattvas, they should rely upon the power of the Tathagata's merit. It's difficult for them to only rely upon their own power, but they should rely upon the Tathagata's. And then give rise to the second question, which is then the Tathagata's merit is immeasurable, just as the 4 powers, 10 fearlessness and 18 uncommon characteristics. These kind of merits are limitless, but how can we rely upon those? And then Vimalakirti started to answer, saying that the bodhisattvas who wish to rely on the power of Tathagata's merit should abide in saving all sentient beings. This is quite important because we should, of course, we should supplicate and should pray to all the Tathagatas. But how to really be in sync of the Tathagata's mind? And it is to save all sentient beings, because in the mind of Tathagata, in the heart of the Tathagata, is only to save all sentient beings. If we were to have the same mind as the Tathagata, then we are in sync of the Tathagata's merit and power. If we have a very hatred mind and such an evil heart towards sentient beings, then how doesn't matter how much you supplicate towards the Tathagatas, your mind cannot be synced with Tathagata. Just as in lots of folk or local or different regions, folk culture where people would supplicate to the Tathagata, just as when a burglar, before them thefting others' homes, they would go to temples and pray to the Buddha statues and bodhisattvas. And in that case, how could they succeed?
不仅是我们如来吧，就是包括我们的很多的这个传承上师的话呢，其实他们的这个心里呢，就是唯一的这个利益众生，唯一的利益众生。如果我们行为呢，让这个利益众生哪怕是做一件事情，刹那间的一点点美好的念头的话呢，那这个是完全跟这个佛也好，自己的传承上师的话呢，完全都是可以相应。如果我们自己呢，就是作为这个如来的这个教法利益众生的这个事情，那跟这个一边就是拉专精忍者，然后一边就是我们现在听说原来在那边藏地的有些比较愚痴的人吧，就是也是那个就是这个把牦牛呢就是装在什么那个货车里面，然后他自己就是那个什么专精人和念珠，就是这样的话呢，那就你拉个多少个专精人都没有什么用的，因为害众生，真在害众生。所以我们现在自己在平时行为当中呢，真的要向到就是跟这个佛相应，跟上师相应的话呢，哪天我们那个升到帮忙人里面说是，在这个只要是什么对上师有恭敬心的话，上师跟前也可以，不在上师跟前也可以。很多人都认为我现在可以离开了，就是没有问题了但实际上是不知道自己真的有没有这么大的恭敬心。这种恭敬心不一定是光是这个表面上这第一个图就是我们有些是心里就是有很多的傲慢，但是呢，表面上还是这个不低的比较那个的，但这个就是不是对上师的恭敬心不知道。如果真的是对利益众生的话呢，那个是真正的这个对上师的一个恭敬，也是一个价值。
really help such beings, and then you can receive teacher's blessings wherever you are. Just as Dundrumba, the teacher asked Dundrumba to give blessings to him because Dundrumba has a kind heart. So if you want to be in sync with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, you should really benefit sentient beings. Otherwise, as Buddhists, if you have lots of conflicts and lots of quarrels between and inside your community, inside your Buddhist community, inside if you're a non-Buddhist community and have lots of rejection towards others and have lots of afflictions and killing of others, and even doing all those evil deeds without a blink of your eyes, then this is not called a Mahayana teaching. This is not about Mahayana Buddhism. How can you then be in sync of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattva's mind then? In another sutra where it says that the mind of all Buddhas is compassionate. This compassion is to ourselves? Did I make a mistake?
不是对自己大慈大悲。
This great compassion is not to yourself but to sentient beings. Why are you all laughing? I have no idea. Did I say something wrong? Well, this is what I wanted to say.
要度众生的这颗心呢，就是现
So
在
the
可能
mind
有
of
些人是比
liberating
较
others,
不是很
of
那个
helping
自然的，
others,
就是可能是包括有一些地方
we
不是
should
无为的这种
have
发心
it.
吧，到一定的
We
自
should
然而
have
然的，
such
这是
mind
可以训练的，
naturally.
我们的心也可以得到训练。
it's-
你看有些运动员的话，他
But
千
we
百
can
万次
train
的这
it,
个不断的
just
训练，
as
最
how
后
some
的
of
是
the
他
athletes,
就训
they
练
would
出这样
train
的这个
thousands
身体
and
的
millions
是
of
那么
times,
的
and
软
then
那么的。那我
their
们心
body
也如
could
果
get
前面
very
完此的
flexible,
利益众生，
can
就把所有
then
所谓的当
accommodate
做很
to
重要的
such
人的
sports.
价值观
If
非常
we
重要。
can
如果我们
practice
的价
that
值
in
观
our
当中
heart,
真的
if we
是
can
这个
practice
出
compassion
这个利
to
众生两个是一
and
模一样的，就像
benefiting
如现在
sentient
你们所讲
beings
的
and the mind
如
of
果这样的话呢，慢慢
benefiting
慢慢呢，
sentient
我们
beings
的
in
这
our
个所
heart,
作所为也是真
then
正成
we
为
can
是
really
大乘这个
practice this,
菩萨
and
的这个
then
行为啊，
we
就
can
真理
naturally give
讲得
rise
很好的，
to
大家
this
就是
Mahayana
每天这样的
Bodhisattva's
课里面呢，
actions
至少也是
naturally.
一两句就是重要的一些呢，
During each of
就
our
是在这个
classes,
记住
even
啊，
if
就是
you
记住
can
的话，那
remember
就是
one
那
or
这
two
样我
really
们学的都
important
是是
teachings
有意
or
义的，
the
我们每天学
most
的当中呢，
important
就
gist
是
of
有
the
一些那
class,
个
I think
就
that's
是应
quite
该是
valuable
就是
and
打出
really
不同颜
important.
色的这个记号，就是以前我们学的时候的重要的地方呢，就
We
是
have
有一种颜
nowadays
色，
different
校正是一种颜
markers
色，
and
然后
different
这是学习
highlighters.
的一种态
You
度，
can
而且每天
highlight
呢，
with
自己
different
就
colors
是
to
就
give
重
you
要的营养就
reminders.
是记在
This
其
is
他
the kind of good
笔记本啊，
attitude
这样
to
的话呢，
study.
就是一步画
And
完
you
了以
could
后呢，
write
就是
notes
所以有很
onto
多的
your
东西就是
notebook.
我们全部不一定能记
Then
得到的。
after the
如果能全部
entire
记得到的
teaching,
话，都是
you
你们什么
will
记号都不
have
大都可以，就是
really good,
我也相信我们真理全部
really
能
good
记得到，就是
harvest
从头
of
到尾就
knowledge.
不需要打任何记号，也不用任何，凡是就像波
There
瓦
are
普罗尼的
people,
阿罗汉一样的，
who are probably
9%就
attained
很多都
the
是这样的，我相信这样的。
unforgettable
以后的话呢，
Dharani,
就是
just
主要
like
是
arhats,
众生吧，
and
记
then
得
they're
住
on
比
their
较
books,
简
they
单。
have no
我
marks
今
at
天就
all. They
讲
have
到
a
这
clean
里吧，
book
对吧？
after the whole teaching, and I'll stop here today.